picture a familiar morning. You sit at the table. On the plate before you rests a freshly boiled egg, still warm, beside a cup of milk, a slice of whole grain bread, or perhaps a few leaves of fresh vegetables. You smile to yourself and think this must be the perfect breakfast for health. Yet there is a hidden truth that very few people talk about. The foods that seem the most wholesome can sometimes quietly rob your body of its strength, especially after the age of 60. You may believe you are nourishing yourself, but in reality, the very meal you trust could leave you drained of energy, tired through the day, and even more vulnerable to illness. It sounds puzzling. How could an egg, a symbol of life itself and often called a jewel of nutrition, ever become a burden? The answer does not lie in the egg alone. It lies in the way you combine it with other foods. Many international studies have shown that as many as 4 in 10 older adults eat eggs in a way that locks away their most valuable nutrient. Instead of fueling the body, those nutrients remain trapped, never reaching the cells that need them most. This is one reason why some mornings you eat well, yet feel weak, why a short walk feels heavy, why memory fades, or why sleep never seems deep enough. The unsettling truth is that most people never notice. They carry on with the same habits year after year, believing they are protecting their health while their body quietly grows weaker. So the greater question is this: why can such a familiar food become a double-edged sword? And what truly happens inside the body when you eat eggs with the wrong companions? The answer is not simple. It is not about avoiding eggs or fearing them. Eggs remain one of nature's greatest gifts, filled with proteins, vitamins, and essential compounds. The real issue begins when the wrong combinations act like a locked door. Imagine holding a treasure chest in your hand, but the key is bent. The chest never opens. The treasure is never used. That is what happens inside your body when the wrong foods meet the egg on your plate. There are 3 groups of foods that seem harmless but act like that bent key. They interrupt absorption. They disturb the natural balance of digestion. They turn the promise of nourishment into wasted potential. But I will not reveal them just yet. Because before we name the culprits, we must understand the bigger picture. We must see the egg for what it truly is. Not a villain, but a misunderstood ally. It is a gift that asks only to be paired wisely. This is where our journey begins. A journey to uncover the unseen story of the egg, the quiet mistakes that slowly weaken the body, and the hidden path back to strength, clarity, and dignity. So listen carefully. For within the ordinary lies the extraordinary, and within the simple act of breakfast may rest the key to living stronger in the years ahead. For centuries, the egg has carried a quiet power. In every culture, it has been a symbol of life, renewal, and wholeness. Ancient healers used it in rituals of protection. Modern scientists study it for its near-perfect balance of nutrients, and families everywhere have relied on it as one of the simplest, most affordable, and most nourishing foods. Inside a single egg lies a remarkable story. Proteins that rebuild tissue, healthy fats that sustain energy, vitamins that sharpen memory and preserve vision, minerals that keep bones steady and muscles strong, even compounds that protect the heart and balance hormones. It is no exaggeration to say that an egg is a universe of nourishment wrapped in a fragile shell. Yet here is where the paradox begins. Despite all its power, many older adults never receive the full gift hidden inside an egg. The reason is not that the egg itself is lacking. The reason is that the body changes with age, and the way we eat either unlocks or blocks the treasure it contains. Science shows that after the age of 50, the digestive system absorbs nutrients less efficiently. The stomach produces less acid, the intestines slow down, and enzymes that once worked quickly now move with hesitation. Even when you eat something as complete as an egg, your body may only capture part of its value. And if the egg is paired with the wrong foods, the loss becomes even greater. Think about the role of protein. It is the foundation of strength. Every movement you make, from rising out of a chair to carrying groceries, depends on it. Eggs deliver some of the highest quality protein known to science. But when digestion is disrupted by poor combinations, that protein is not fully broken down, and muscles receive less than they should. Over time, the body grows weaker, not because of age alone, but because of a gap between what you eat and what you actually use. The same is true for vitamins. The yolk of an egg carries vitamin D, crucial for bones and immunity, and vitamin B12, essential for nerves and memory. Yet older adults are often deficient in both. Not because they never eat eggs, but because the absorption is compromised. It is like filling a glass with water while a crack runs down the side. No matter how much you pour, the glass never stays full. This hidden loss creates quiet consequences. Fatigue creeps in more often, memory slips become more frequent, balance grows less certain. People may tell themselves this is only the natural march of age, but in truth, part of it comes from the missed potential of foods that were meant to sustain life. And so, the egg becomes misunderstood. Some dismiss it as harmful, pointing to cholesterol. Others underestimate it, seeing it as ordinary. In reality, it is neither enemy nor trivial companion. It is a powerful ally that simply asks to be respected and combined with wisdom. Modern research has confirmed what ancient traditions hinted at. The egg can be a fountain of vitality, but only when the body is ready to receive it. The question is not whether eggs are good or bad. The question is how we can prepare the body and the plate so that the gift inside the egg flows freely into our cells. This is where awareness becomes power. When you know how fragile the balance is, you can begin to protect it. When you recognize that the way you eat matters as much as what you eat, you open a doorway to resilience. And when you realize that certain everyday habits are stealing the richness of the egg from you, you begin to see why so many feel weaker even while eating what they believe is right. The egg is not the problem. The problem is the hidden interference. The problem is the silent companions on your plate that cancel its power. 3 common groups of foods that slip into breakfasts and dinners, trusted without question, but quietly blocking the path of nourishment. We will name them soon, but not yet. Because before we uncover the culprits, we must understand the deeper truth. We must see that the key to strength is not in avoiding a single food, but in learning the harmony of the body. The egg is a symbol of that harmony, small yet complete, fragile yet strong. It reminds us that health is never about one choice alone, but about the way everything fits together. So let us walk a little further. Let us uncover how these combinations can alter the fate of a meal and how you can restore the true promise of the egg in your own life. Only then will the picture be complete. Imagine a treasure chest filled with gold and silver, locked away inside your body every time you eat an egg. The chest opens slowly, ready to release its gifts of protein, vitamins, and minerals. But just as the lid rises, invisible hands reach in, snatch the coins, and slip away unnoticed. The chest closes again, leaving you with far less than you deserve. This is what happens when the wrong foods accompany the egg. They are the silent thieves of nutrition. The tragedy is that these thieves are not rare or exotic. They are everyday companions on the plate. Foods we trust, foods we often eat without question. They are not poisonous. They are not dangerous on their own. But when they arrive in the same moment as an egg, they quietly interfere, blocking absorption, slowing digestion, or diverting nutrients toward waste instead of strength. Scientists call this process nutrient antagonism. It is the clash between compounds inside different foods that fight for the same doors into the body. Picture a narrow doorway where only a few people can pass at a time. Now imagine 2 large crowds arriving at once, each pushing to get through. Chaos erupts and no one passes smoothly. In the body, that chaos means missed nutrients, weakened benefits, and a silent decline in energy. One thief targets protein itself. Protein is made of amino acids, the building blocks of muscle and resilience. Eggs carry a near perfect balance of these blocks, but when certain foods are combined with them, enzymes that should cut the protein into usable pieces are distracted. Instead of being delivered to muscles, much of the protein slips away, undigested and unused. The result is a meal that looks nourishing but leaves your body half empty. Another thief strikes at minerals. Zinc, selenium, and iron inside the egg are essential for immunity, memory, and cellular repair. Yet other foods bring compounds called phytates or oxalates. These compounds act like thieves with locks in their hands. They bind the minerals tightly and prevent them from entering the bloodstream. You eat, but the minerals remain trapped. leaving the body craving what it cannot access. And then there are the thieves that tamper with fats and vitamins. The yolk of an egg carries healthy fats that transport vitamin D, vitamin A, and vitamin E into the body. But some foods release compounds that interfere with fat metabolism. They disrupt the carriers, leaving vitamins stranded, unable to cross into cells. The treasure is there, but the bridge to reach it is broken. These processes unfold quietly. You do not feel pain, you do not notice a dramatic event. Instead, the effect shows up slowly, like a shadow growing longer as the day passes. Muscles that once felt strong recover more slowly. Joints ache more often. Memory seems to slip a little further. Nights become restless. Energy fades before evening. Each symptom whispers of lost nourishment, stolen by silent companions you never suspected. Why do these thieves matter more after the age of 60? Because the body is already less efficient. Digestive fire has cooled. Enzymes work more slowly. Circulation is less robust. That means every nutrient is more precious, and every theft cuts deeper. A younger body can sometimes afford the loss. An older body cannot. The difference between eating wisely and eating blindly may decide whether you rise from a chair with ease or struggle, whether you sleep soundly or wake in exhaustion, whether you continue to live independently or begin to feel captive in your own home. For decades, doctors and nutritionists have focused on adding foods, adding supplements, adding remedies. Less often do they speak of combinations, of how the very act of pairing can either unlock or destroy the value of a meal. Yet ancient traditions knew this truth. In Ayurveda, in Chinese medicine, even in folk practices across Europe and Africa, people spoke of foods that should not meet on the same plate. They did not have microscopes or blood tests, but they observed the results over centuries. And now modern science begins to confirm what they saw. The lesson is not fear. You do not need to view your plate with suspicion. The lesson is awareness. Just as a symphony requires harmony between instruments, your body requires harmony between foods. Eggs bring their melody of life, but if the wrong notes sound at the same time, the music turns harsh and the song of strength is lost. We will soon reveal the 3 groups of foods that most often clash with eggs. They are familiar, they are common, and they may already be on your table. To name them now would be easy, but before we do, pause for a moment and think of your own meals. Remember the last time you ate eggs. What did you pair them with? Bread, milk, fruit, meat, vegetables? Did you notice how you felt afterward? Light and energized, or heavy and tired? Alert or sluggish? These quiet signals are the language of your body, trying to tell you when the thieves have visited. In the next part, we will shine the light fully on these companions. We will see why they interfere, how they rob the gift of the egg, and most importantly, how you can choose differently. Knowledge does not only protect your plate, it protects your future. And once you see the truth, you can no longer be deceived by the silent thieves of nutrition. The moment has come to unmask the companions that so often stand beside the egg, smiling innocently on the plate while quietly weakening its gift. They are not strangers. They are not exotic. They are the very foods we have trusted for decades, believing them to be allies of health. Yet when they meet the egg, they turn into obstacles. The first culprit is milk. For generations, the image of eggs with a glass of milk has been painted as the perfect breakfast, especially for children and the elderly. Strong bones, strong bodies, full nourishment. Yet science tells a different story. The proteins in milk and the proteins in eggs compete for the same pathways in digestion. Instead of complementing each other, they clash. Enzymes are distracted, absorption slows, and much of the protein is left unused. The calcium in milk also binds with certain compounds in eggs, further reducing absorption. What looks like a powerful combination becomes a silent compromise, leaving you with less strength than you imagined. The second culprit is soy, and its many forms. Tofu, soy milk, soy flour, processed soy hidden in packaged foods. Soy is often praised for its plant protein and protective compounds, but it carries substances called phytates. These phytates lock onto minerals such as zinc and iron inside the egg, preventing them from entering the bloodstream. For older adults already at risk of deficiencies, this theft is especially harmful. The irony is sharp. In trying to eat healthy by adding soy to your diet, you may unknowingly be blocking the very nutrients you need most. The third culprit is sugar. Not just the sugar you spoon into tea, but the sugar baked into pastries, stirred into jam, or hidden in processed foods that so often accompany eggs at breakfast. Sugar triggers a rapid rise in blood glucose, forcing the body to release insulin in a rush. This hormonal surge disrupts the balance needed for protein synthesis. Instead of using the amino acids from eggs to build and repair muscle, the body is busy managing the sugar storm. The result is that the egg's protein is wasted, diverted, or stored as fat rather than strength. Milk, soy, sugar, 3 foods that carry no warning signs on their own. Each has a place, each can be useful in different contexts, but when they stand beside an egg, they quietly undo its promise. This is why so many older adults eat faithfully, believing they are nourishing themselves, and yet still feel weaker, more fatigued, less resilient. The truth is that the treasure of the egg never reached their cells. It was stolen at the table. The consequences ripple outward. A man in his 70s who pairs eggs with sweet pastries every morning wonders why his legs feel heavy during his daily walk. A woman in her 60s who mixes soy milk into scrambled eggs believes she is choosing wisely, yet her bones continue to ache from mineral loss. An older couple who drink milk alongside their omelette each evening assume they are strengthening their bodies, yet their energy fades by midday. Each story is different, yet the hidden thread is the same. The wrong companions have stolen the power of the egg. Does this mean you must never touch these foods again? No, the lesson is not to ban them from your life, but to learn the wisdom of timing and pairing. Milk may be taken at another meal, away from eggs. Soy may be enjoyed in moderation when eggs are absent. Sugar is best minimized altogether, but if you choose it, let it stand far from the egg. That should be your strength. Ancient traditions already hinted at these truths. In Ayurveda, milk and eggs were considered an improper pairing that created heaviness and imbalance. In traditional Chinese medicine, sugar and protein were said to disturb energy flow when combined. And modern nutrition now provides the scientific explanation for what healers observed long ago. The body is not only about what enters the mouth, it is about how foods interact once they are inside. So here you have the truth. 3 foods that so often rob the egg of its gift: milk, soy, sugar. Simple, ordinary, trusted, yet dangerous in their combinations. Knowing this, you can begin to change your plate. You can allow the egg to release its full treasure. You can rebuild strength, restore energy, and protect independence. But the journey does not end here. Now that you know what to avoid, the deeper question arises. What should you pair with eggs to unlock their power? What companions amplify rather than diminish? What foods can transform the egg from a simple meal into a fountain of resilience? The answers lie ahead, and they may surprise you, because sometimes the allies of strength are as humble and overlooked as the thieves we have just unmasked. Once a truth is revealed about what harms you, the mind often begins to ask the next question. If milk, soy, and sugar can quietly rob the egg of its power, then what foods can stand beside it as true companions, which allies can amplify its strength, open its hidden treasure, and deliver it fully to the body? The answer lies not in distant lands or rare ingredients, but in humble foods that may already be resting quietly in your kitchen. The first ally is vegetables, especially those rich in fiber and antioxidants. When eggs are paired with leafy greens like spinach or kale, or with colorful peppers, onions, or tomatoes, the effect is striking. The fiber slows digestion just enough to allow a steady release of nutrients. The antioxidants protect delicate compounds in the yolk from damage. And the vitamins in the vegetables complement those in the egg, forming a synergy that lifts both higher. Instead of competing, they cooperate. The body receives not fragments of nutrition, but a complete, balanced orchestra of strength. The second ally is healthy fat. Unlike the disruptive fats in processed foods, these are the gentle oils that guide vitamins into your cells. Olive oil, avocado, and even a small handful of nuts transform an egg meal into a powerhouse of absorption. Vitamin D from the yolk rides more easily into the bloodstream. Vitamin A and E find their way into tissues where they guard vision and repair cells. Many elders notice that when eggs are cooked gently with olive oil and served with slices of avocado, energy feels steadier and memory clearer. It is not imagination, it is biology quietly working in harmony. The third ally is whole grains. Not the white bread stripped of its essence, but grains that still carry their husks and fibers. Oats, quinoa, brown rice, these provide complex carbohydrates that give slow burning fuel to match the protein of eggs. Together they create meals that satisfy without heaviness. The muscles receive protein to rebuild. The brain receives glucose for focus. The heart receives fiber to protect its vessel. Instead of a sharp rise and fall of energy, the day flows with steadiness. The fourth ally is herbs and spices. They may seem like decoration, but inside their colors and aromas lie compounds as powerful as medicine. Turmeric, with its golden hue, calms inflammation. Black pepper enhances absorption. Parsley and cilantro deliver antioxidants. Garlic and onion improve circulation. When these are sprinkled beside eggs, they do more than flavor the meal, they transform it into a healing ritual. Ancient traditions were never casual with spices. They knew that small touches could carry immense influence, and science now confirms what taste and tradition had long revealed. The fifth ally is fermented food in gentle forms. A small portion of sauerkraut, kimchi, or natural yogurt without added sugar brings probiotics that support digestion. When the gut is healthy, every nutrient in the egg travels more efficiently into the blood. Without a healthy gut, even the richest meal is wasted. Fermented foods act like guardians of the pathway, ensuring that what you eat becomes what you use. For elders, this support is vital because the gut naturally slows with age. Restoring its balance through these allies can unlock nourishment that otherwise slips away. Together, these allies create not just meals, but medicine disguised as food. An omelette with spinach, onions, and tomatoes cooked in olive oil. A boiled egg with a side of avocado and fermented vegetables. Scrambled eggs with turmeric, black pepper, and parsley served over quinoa. Each is simple, affordable, and yet powerful enough to shape the way you feel each day. The difference becomes clear not in a single morning, but across weeks and months. You notice that rising from a chair feels easier, your balance steadies, energy stretches longer into the day, memory feels sharper, sleep deepens. These are not miracles. They are the natural results of allowing the egg to give you its full treasure, supported by the right ally. For older adults, the lesson is both practical and profound. Health is not found in complicated formulas. It is not locked away in expensive supplements. It is hidden in the choices made on the plate each day. The egg is a symbol of life, but its promise is unlocked only when it is paired with wisdom. And here lies the deeper mystery. The foods that heal are often the simplest, the most ordinary, the ones overlooked because they seem too common. The secret is not in adding more, but in choosing with intention. The allies are already here. The question is whether you will invite them to join the egg and transform your meals into a fountain of resilience. But our journey is not yet complete. Knowing what to avoid and what to embrace is powerful. Yet there remains a question more subtle and more urgent. How do these choices translate into the protection of independence, dignity, and longevity? How can a simple egg, when paired wisely, shape not only the body, but the spirit of life after 60? That is where we must go next. Longevity has always been one of humanity's deepest desires. We speak of it in ancient myths, we seek it in modern science, we pray for it in moments of silence. Yet the truth is that living long is not enough. To live long without strength, without independence, without dignity, is a shadow of the life we hope for. The real dream is not just more years, but better years. Years that feel steady, clear, and full of purpose. This is where the egg, humble and often underestimated, enters the story once again. For within its shell lies not only protein, vitamins, and minerals, but a blueprint for resilience. It is a food designed by nature to hold the beginnings of life itself. And when it is understood, respected, and paired wisely, it becomes more than breakfast. It becomes a key to longevity. Science has shown that protein intake is one of the most reliable predictors of vitality in older adults. Without enough protein, muscles shrink, bones weaken, the immune system falters. But with consistent intake, the body retains its ability to repair, to defend, to keep moving. Eggs provide some of the most bioavailable protein known. This means the body can use it more easily than protein from many other sources. Each bite of egg becomes a direct gift to muscle, bone, and nerve. Yet longevity is not only about the physical, it is also about the invisible threads that connect body and mind. The yolk of the egg carries choline, a nutrient often overlooked but essential for brain function. Choline supports memory, focus, and emotional stability. In cultures where eggs are eaten regularly with wisdom, the rate of cognitive decline is often lower. The connection is subtle but powerful. A clear mind allows an active body, and an active body sustains a clear mind. But the egg's promise is conditional. It depends on respect. When it is drowned in sugar, when it is locked away by milk, when it is weakened by careless combinations, its gift fades. Longevity does not come from eating blindly. It comes from eating with awareness, from listening to the body and honoring its whispers. The story of longevity is also a story of energy. Too often, older adults describe waking already tired, walking already heavy, eating already weary. This quiet exhaustion is not inevitable. It is a sign of imbalance. When the egg is combined with the right allies and consumed in rhythm with the body's needs, it restores energy at the deepest level. The mitochondria, the tiny powerhouses inside every cell, are fueled. Oxygen and nutrients reach the tissues. Instead of decline, there is renewal. Think of the elders in certain villages of Japan, where people live past 100 with surprising vitality. Their secret is not luxury, but simplicity. Balanced meals, small portions, steady habits. Eggs appear often, not as a feast, but as part of a balanced plate with vegetables, grains, and teas. Their lives remind us that the secret to longevity is not locked in exotic formulas. It rests in the daily choices we repeat until they shape us. And here lies the heart of the mystery. Longevity is not a race to extend time. It is a rhythm, a way of living that allows time to carry you with grace instead of weight. The egg becomes a symbol of this rhythm. Small, simple, steady, yet powerful enough to shape the body and spirit across decades. For the older adult listening now, the message is clear. Your future is not carved in stone. Weakness is not destiny. Decline is not a sentence. With each meal you prepare, you are choosing the story of your years. A boiled egg with vegetables may seem like nothing, yet repeated each day, it is a quiet declaration that you are still building, still restoring, still honoring the gift of life. The promise of longevity does not belong only to those blessed with rare genes or extraordinary wealth. It belongs to anyone willing to make small, intentional choices. Choices that may appear ordinary, but when repeated, reveal their extraordinary power. And so we arrive at a deeper question. If the egg, paired wisely, can influence not only health but also longevity, then what does this mean for the years still ahead? How do we carry this promise beyond food into the way we live, move, and breathe each day? That final mystery is what we will uncover in the closing chapter. Every journey leads to a moment when the scattered pieces come together, when the whispers that seem separate form a single voice. We began with the egg, a small and ordinary food that most people overlook. We uncovered its hidden strength, its silent struggles when paired with the wrong companions, its allies that unlock its treasure, and its power to shape not only health but longevity itself. Now we arrive at the final revelation, the truth that gives meaning to it all. The egg is not only about nutrition, it is about choice. It is about the way you decide to meet each day. For many older adults, meals have become routine, almost mechanical. Eat quickly, clear the plate, and move on. Yet every meal is an opportunity to speak to your body, to give it not just fuel, but respect. When you choose with awareness, you remind yourself that your life still holds value, that you still deserve strength, clarity, and peace. The true revelation is this: aging is not a sentence, it is an invitation. It invites you to care more deeply, to listen more closely, to act with greater wisdom. The egg becomes a symbol of that invitation, simple, common, and available to all, yet filled with power when handled with intention. Consider this: a plate with one boiled egg, a small bowl of sauteed spinach, a slice of tomato drizzled with olive oil, and a sprinkle of herbs. Nothing extravagant, nothing expensive. Yet this meal carries the strength to fuel muscles, sharpen memory, protect the heart, and calm inflammation. It is a meal that whispers dignity. It says you still matter. Your days still matter. Your future still matters. The final secret is not hidden in laboratories or locked in formulas. It is already in your hands. The real challenge is not knowledge, but practice. To take what you know and repeat it daily until it becomes rhythm, until it becomes life. Longevity is not built in one decision, but in thousands of small choices, each one carrying the weight of intention. For those who wonder whether it is too late, whether the years gone cannot be recovered, the answer is simple. Renewal does not ask about the past, it asks only about today. Even after 60, 70, or 80, the body responds to care. Muscles grow when fed and moved. Memory sharpens when nourished. Energy returns when balance is restored. The egg, paired wisely, becomes one of the tools in this renewal. But let us go deeper. The egg is round, complete, without beginning or end. It has long been seen as a symbol of life itself, of cycles, of rebirth. To eat with awareness is to step into that cycle, to accept that renewal is always possible. Even as years pass, the circle continues. The egg is not only food, it is a reminder that you are still part of that circle of vitality. The revelation, then, is not just about avoiding mistakes or choosing allies. It is about reclaiming agency. Too often, older adults are told to accept decline, to surrender dignity, to fade quietly into the background. But every time you sit at the table and make a choice with intention, you are refusing that story. You are writing a new one. So here is the closing invitation. Do not see the egg as small or ordinary. See it as a companion. Prepare it with wisdom. Pair it with allies that lift it higher. Avoid the combinations that silence its gift. And with each meal, remember that you are not powerless. You are still shaping your body, your mind, your spirit. The mystery is complete. The egg, the allies, the promise, the practice, all threads of a single truth. Longevity is not hidden in youth. It is hidden in wisdom. The best years are not behind you. They are waiting to be unlocked by the choices you make today. So tomorrow morning, when you sit at your table and see the egg resting on your plate, pause for a moment, hold it with respect. Feel the weight of its promise. And as you eat, let it remind you of this truth. Strength is not gone. Independence is not lost. Vitality is not behind you. It is still within you, waiting to rise again. One choice, one meal, one day at a time.